Hello. All right, we're going to continue our discussion on The Yamas and Niyamas by Deborah Adele. Amazing book. Okay, today we're going to discuss Ahimsa and self-love. This was an amazing part of this book. So in it, Adele describes how what we are experiencing inside of us will come outside of us. One example she gives is this child who was going around biting everybody and just, and it turns out, well, the child had worms and they were doing that to them inside. So they were doing that on the outside. So yeah. Another super powerful part, I love this. This whole part deals about what is inside of us comes out. And then the author gives an example of paint. Like, why would you buy a can of red spray paint and expect blue spray paint to come out? You wouldn't. That's just weird, right? Again, how can we expect something that we're feeling inside manifest differently outside? Meaning, obviously we're not cans of spray paint. If you are judging yourself, that's going to come out and you're going to be judging others. I mean, I'll get to the questions for a thought at the end. Actually, I'll save it. I like this part. I love it. She says, the color of how we treat ourselves is the color of how we treat others. If we can't be safe with ourselves, others can never be safe with us. And the world can never be a safe place to be. Ugh. Ouch. Right? And then the author talks about falling in love with themselves because they want to be a person where other people can feel safe around them, right? So just like RuPaul used to say, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? She does it much better than I do. But anyway, so the author writes, falling in love leaves no room for the violence of expectations and judgments. It is free for delight and joy and spontaneity. Everyone around the lover also feels the love. Love creates a spontaneous combustion that includes all in its path. Oh my gosh, I love that. And then the author continues on what kind of love they're talking about. So not a love that is egocentric, but a love that is forgiving and lenient. A love that sees the humor in the imperfections and accepts the fullness of the human expression. Only when we find this love for all the parts of ourselves can we begin to express fully the love that wells up inside of us for others. Finding this love for all the parts of ourselves means we have to forgive ourselves. Ouch. Again, truth bombs. And then they continue. Our inability to love and accept all the pieces of ourselves creates ripples, tiny acts of violence that have huge and lasting impacts on others. Like, my goodness. And then continues. Attempts to change self rather than love self keep us trapped in vicious cycles that we can't crawl out of. And then lastly, the author talks about like different people describing how when they were able to love themselves, the liberation that came from that. So when love became the Lord of my life, says one person, I became fearless. And another person said, and then she gives Jesus as the example. Perfect love casts out fear. That was Swami Rama who said that. When love became the Lord of my life, I became fearless. Yeah. What's the other one? When fear creates harm and violence, love creates expansion and non-violence and the true safety that we seek. Non-violence is woven with love, and love of other is woven with love of self. These cannot be separated. Exactly. Like RuPaul said. If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Wise words. So then my questions for thought, like the questions that came for me to reflect upon were, what part of you are you currently trying to fix? Who are you doing this for and why? For your parents? For society? What if you never fix this in yourself? Will you still love you? Do you love others with the same issue, or do you judge them as you judge yourself? And be honest, right? Nothing ever good comes from sweeping dirt under the carpet. It's always there. And then bugs come. And then mice that eat those bugs come. And then you just have a whole mess when you should have just lifted up the carpet and swept or vacuumed up the dirt in the first place. Are people still doing this? Do you have carpets? Anyway. But yeah, I know for me, let's see. Something I try to fix. My weight. I am constantly trying to fix my weight. I have been like exercising as far back as I can remember. I was always really athletic. I was always in sports. So I guess like in my teen years, I didn't think about it because I mean, I was in drill team. I played basketball. I played softball. And I was a teenager and have to try and lose weight just when you're young and you're in that many sports. I mean, please, I couldn't gain weight. It was, I guess after I had kids is when it was like, what is happening? Like, oh my gosh. You mean I was only skinny all those years because I was super amazingly active? What? And then, yeah, then the weight came and I was like, and I guess, yeah, so for me anyway, my weight, it's always trying to lose weight. Because I guess like that's, for me, that's my identity. That's me. Yeah, and so when I am bigger, I don't feel like that's me that I see. Also, I think a large part of that is society, right? You can't have a mom bod. You can have a dad bod. You know, that's sexy. You can have the dad bod and have a little gut, but if you're a woman, you know, and you're a mom, you better look like you never had any kids. So I guess that's where it comes from, society's expectations. And there's a stigma attached, isn't it? If you're overweight, you must be lazy. And who wants to be seen as lazy? That's not cool. So then the next question is, like, would I still love myself if I never fixed this? If I never lost this 40 pounds, would I still love myself? To be honest, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I may like, because okay, and you can't say, oh, I would love myself, I just wouldn't love the way I looked. Well, that's not loving yourself, is it? So then I would have to say, I guess I wouldn't, because you would not. If someone said, I love you, I just don't love the way you look, you'd be like, fuck off. Like, but we do that to ourselves. And that's the whole point. Why we're here, why we're interested in yoga, I hope, is because we want to work on loving ourselves, and so we can love other people. Because who wants to live in a world full of assholes that say, I love you, just not the way you look? I don't want to live in that world. And so I know I fix myself, and then I can spread love to others, and hopefully that continues in that chain reaction, just like the author talked about, when you are in love and everybody wants to be around that person because they can feel that love. And that's the world I want to be in. Not the one where people say, I love you, just not the way you look. Like, that's really shitty. Anyway, so that's our discussion on Ahimsa and self-love and what that has to do with each other. So, all right. I hope you have this book, or you're at least enjoying these reflections of it. So yeah. All right. In the meantime, be well. Namaste.